Hey guys, welcome back
Hello.
to our the second episode of Two Bros and a Beard. It's me, Assad,
It's me, Ibrahim.
and today we thought we'd start by talking about a little bit of the stuff we've been going through in life, college, jobs, how the quarantines affected everything, and things like that. So yeah, Ibrahim, how do you like college, man? How do you like college? Because I have a lot of diverse opinions that you've never heard before about my feelings of college.
College during this time and COVID and all this stuff is, to me, it was really, really stupid. And I didn't really like it at all just because the whole idea behind college is to go to class, sit down in lectures, listen to a lecture and completely not understand anything, get up, go see your friends, go to a club or something, live the college life. COVID? Nah, you don't get any of that. You just get to stay home and look at your computer all day or something like that.
Yeah, I am also not a big fan of college. Everybody keeps saying it's the COVID, it's the environment, it's the time. But I have a very slight sneaking suspicion that college will still suck. It'll just be fun because there's other stuff to do. But like
Other stuff.
the academics won't get any better
I could, yeah,
because
okay.
we can distract ourselves with social stuff. But even now, we can't do that.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true.
Because I just when I like listening to the professors, seeing the way the system is, that I don't like. I don't like the way things are done. I was telling somebody this earlier. I was like, you could take like if you proportionally paid a professor with the amount of work they did teaching,
Hmm.
you could actually see that professors do so little compared to actual teachers, and I could do the entire class basically
Yeah,
myself anyway.
yeah. The couple classes I've taken, it seems that teachers now are just repeating. They're not even like really teaching. They're just like repeating their notes again.
Yeah, it's like you and I think we talked about this before. We don't really like using the textbook,
Nope, I hate
but
textbooks.
I avoid the textbook and I just use the PowerPoint presentation that my professors don't go through in any other detail other than just reading it.
You get a PowerPoint presentation?
For social classes like anthropology and psychology.
Uh,
For science classes, we did, but it was even worse because it was just like look at this for 2 seconds and then into practice problems.
yeah, no. For all of my classes, they were like, "Here's the lecture. Do the homework." What? What? Hold on. What?
Yeah.
What? Now, some of my classes, like since the world kind of opened up a little bit, some of my classes are like in-person lectures and online work, like the tests and homework and all that stuff is online. The in-person lectures are super super boring because nobody in class talks. It's just a teacher talking and talking, and they're like, "Okay, any questions?" And we all sit there like dead, and nobody answers. And the teacher's like, "Okay," and it continues, and we're like, "Okay, this is a great teacher. It's great."
Do you remember how in Maymester, all of our seniors, they used to say that their teachers would get depressed because of how little people showed up in class.
Yeah,
That's how I felt like our professors were all year,
yeah.
because no one like they had to get over their own confidence because nobody will like. It's when you have to tell yourself nobody will listen to me, but I still have to sound like I care,
Yeah.
and it's tough for them. I understand, but like that whole part of class was also kind of whack too. I always felt really bad because I was like the only one talking,
Oh,
and
I
then
don't talk in class.
I would DM my professor and I'd be like, "Hey, listen, I think I've been talking too much, but none of the other kids are talking." And she's like, "Please talk. Just say whatever you want. It doesn't matter." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, the class I'm taking right now is super, super weird to me. I'm taking Calculus 1 right now. And every single one, maybe, okay, not every single one, but majority of class are talking. And everyone's just like repeating, like, yeah, okay, but what do you do about like 2x? Or how do you do this, and this? And I'm sitting here like, what? Everyone is talking now? And the teacher's just like happy. Everyone's talking. We're discussing math questions. Like today, some guy made a joke and the whole class laughed. I'm like,
Oh.
oh, is this what it felt like before the world ended? Oh my god.
Yeah, do you do that thing where like when you look at like old videos or some of before the pandemic, you're like, "Oh my god, they're not wearing masks?
Yeah. I
Crazy."
was watching a bunch of shows and stuff. I'm like, where's your mask, sir? Or some shows and like movies, they started putting in masks or like the whole COVID thing. Like House, did a whole thing. Grey's Anatomy, they did a whole thing. Granted, they're like I don't know doctor stuff, so that makes sense. But some shows they're adapting to it and they're using masks.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw it in some sitcoms as well. Like
Yeah.
they're not like talking about quarantine, but they are being pretty realistic about the fact that people
Yeah.
are wearing masks around each other. I don't know if I like that or not.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
There's a weird part of me that enjoys the ignorance of not having to worry about pandemics, even when I try to escape in TV shows. But then there's another part of me that's like, that's not what the world is right now.
Can you imagine like 20 years down the road, you're rewatching like a show? For example, like I said, Grey's Anatomy did this whole like COVID thing. If you're rewatching Grey's Anatomy and you're like, oh yeah, they had a whole COVID thing. We had a whole COVID. Oh my god! And can you imagine anyone who was now like not being born by now? They're like, wait, what? This thing was real?
Imagine when we're older, and you know how like TV shows will have reruns.
Yeah,
we're gonna see a rerun of everybody wearing masks, and then we're gonna be like, "Oh my god, yeah, we survived like a whole year and a half of quarantine."
Remember when the movie 2012 came out, and everyone's like, "Yeah, the whole world's
No
gonna end
way,
at 2012."
no way.
And all those like people like after 2012, they posted on their, like their Instagram or whatever. They're like, "Yeah, when I grow up, I'm gonna show my kids 2012 and be like, I survived this." Yeah, no, I'm gonna do that with like COVID.
Yeah, dude, I completely forgot that we as a society like holistically believed that the world was gonna end because of the one Mayan dude who made some circle.
Yeah. It was like, 2012. That's it.
That's it.
That's
Dude,
the date.
Do you remember Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
Their whole like concept for the third game, or not third in the chronology, but like third is in the name 3,
Yeah.
was based on like the world was ending. They had to stop it before
Yeah.
it happened. It had to do with the plot, and
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny because that same year I was like, man, I am gonna die.
Yeah, this is it.
Gangnam Style came out, and that was my peak. What does the fox say?
Oh God, no.
All that stuff, that was my peak, and then I was gonna die. And then when honestly, the day it happened, I didn't even realize it. And then the next day, I was like, "Oh, yesterday was supposed to be the end of the world." What happened with
the
that?
day it happened, the day like it became 2012 or whatever, like the next year happened. I think I was driving home at night with my family, and we were like, "Oh, 2012 just ended," and we all started looking at the windows, like, "Is there a meteor coming? Are we all gonna die now?"
Yeah, little hot flashes.
The
just
hot
blink out
flashes.
at
Are we all
us,
just
yeah.
all gonna die out of nowhere? And we're like,
Nah.
no, we're chilling. Okay, cool. Next.
Yeah, that was a weird thing, man. It was like even people who weren't superstitious, like, still were like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
2012." Ooh.
I mean, I think that's like, I don't want to throw everyone under the bus, but I feel like that's how like society kind of is. They just kind of start like clinging on to things.
Do you think people in like the 30s and the 40s were also talking about 2012?
No. When did the whole Mayan thing come out?
Well, the Mayan circle thing existed a long. I don't actually know when it was
I
discovered.
don't know when it came out. I don't
But
know.
I'm wondering if like our trends, if that was just another trend, like
I feel like it was a trend. I feel
it was
like
like a
people
thing.
back then, they were like,
or if
listen,
like,
I gotta get money, I gotta get a job, I don't care about the world ending in like 4,500 years.
because like you know how after the Cold War, like we have the doomsday clock, right? And
Yeah.
that's been around. It's kind of like 2012, but that's like a thing we're actually thinking about, like
Maybe.
nuclear apocalypse. We're calculating it with like actual algorithms, things like that. And I'm wondering if like even though in the zeitgeist of the normal society it was like a joke, but to like actual professionals like governments and scientists, they were like, "Ooh, 2012, we gotta calculate if there's a meteor on the way."
Yeah. No,
Because if they took that seriously, that would have been so funny. They're all sitting there like, you know how NASA when they land the lander,
Yeah.
they're waiting for the lander. They're waiting for 2012 to be over, and they're like, and then they just hug everybody.
Everyone gets a party and starts
Yeah.
crying, like,
They
Mom, I made it.
Throw the champagne on the floor, and they're like, "We lived."
1 second after.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I think that's how everyone was thinking. Like, that's their mindset. As soon as 2012 was done, they're like, oh, hell yeah, all right, keep living life, boys.
Yeah.
And now we're in a pandemic.
And now we're in a pandemic.
So we went from the world ending due to some natural disaster to pandemic. 8 years later.
Another seemingly natural disaster.
Yeah. It's the weirdest thing. I saw this one thing. I was like, every like 90 years there's a pandemic or something like that. Because
Yeah.
back then there was like a pandemic going on.
I saw some stupid thing where it was like 1720, 1820,
Yeah, it was-
1920. There was
there's
always
some
a disease on the
weird, yeah,
20s, and then
diseases.
2020 there was also one, and I was like,
Yeah.
all right. Dude, you know what else was funny? Here. Okay, so I saw this TikTok, and it was like, I think maybe you or Safine sent it, but it was like, all the boys, if you have this dot on your arm, is proof that the government clones us. And I did not believe it, and then I looked at my arm and I was like, whoa. Like, you know, I'm really skeptical when it comes to
I thought it was
internet
this
stuff.
one.
Nah, it's the one on your left
Oh, this
arm
one
near
right
your
there.
forearm. Yeah, and you
Yeah,
got it
yeah,
too.
I have it too.
I got it too. I don't know, bro. This is kind of scary.
This whole podcast has just become us, like, conspiracy theories.
We should do that one day. We should go through a bunch of like internet conspiracy theories and like think about it.
I'm honestly down.
Because there's so many. I've seen so many funny ones, so many real ones too. Like have you ever heard about the cicada hackings?
What?
Not hackings, but like there was this whole game that these people played to get people to join a secret organization, and their thing was like a cicada, like a moth looking beetle thing, and they would like put like a picture on like a lamppost in a random country, and it would be like a computer code that you'd have to decipher and then like go to places, and it was this whole kind of like thing to get people into cults.
So okay, so you and our parents are both like foreign, from the other side of the world. They have this whole like WhatsApp thing, right? Whenever they see something sketchy on Facebook, they send it to each other's friends and stuff like that. My mom saw something like that. I don't remember if it was that exact same one or not. But she came and she was talking to me about that. And she was like, "Don't be tied into any of this stuff. If you see something sketchy, don't go into it." Bro, I'm too lazy to do all of that. To go decipher a picture of a thing of a map, find Google, and then decide if Google was worth what?
Yeah, that would be some of our more sociopathic.
Yeah, I'm just like, bro, I don't have mental capacity to like. You read all that out, and I'm like.
I wouldn't have even read that.
Yeah, I was like, what? That's way too many words.
Actually, my mom, same combo. I think a lot of brown parents talk like that. They just say, don't do this, don't do that.
Yeah.
But my mom, she actually, she told me a long time ago, I think 18, something like that, 17.
Sure.
And actually could have been 2018. Let's see, 2018.
What?
She showed me this thing of this new drug, and it was called Blue Whale. Or no, the game Blue Whale, and then a drug Blue something. And one of our friends from school actually was involved in that game. And actually a couple of our friends. And I was like, oh shoot, my mom said something and it was actually real. Maybe I kind of have to believe her now.
I remember that whole there's so many of those trends that are like I think like even Criminal Minds did his whole thing about this. So like when people
they made a horror movie about it too.
Yeah, there's so many like those different
people
trends.
On the internet who like trap people and make them play games
they play games. They're like what was that one thing they were talking about? Like people hanging themselves and see if you can survive.
Oh my god!
Or like the whole Momo thing or whatever.
Oh my god,
bro!
Momo was so bad. When I was little, Momo was around when I was a kid, so like I could not look at Momo. And now if you go and show Priyana a picture of Momo, she'll like freak out.
What was the whole thing behind Momo, I think?
It was a copy pasta of some girl who did like a filter or something. And then a bunch of other people spread it around saying she was like an internet ghost story. I think this is a story. And then everybody started believing that she was like something that would come through your computer or like come at you at night.
What is this, The Ring?
Yeah, it was almost like The Ring. It was actually eerily similar like The Ring.
Yeah, I think people just get bored and they're like, "Oh, I'm watching The Ring. Let me make something real life like that."
So fun. Dude, you know what else? Dude,
it's like a pyramid scheme.
I think we had one direction for this podcast, but we're going down another one. You know, when I was a kid, I was so terrified of doing Bloody Mary, but all the little boys at the sleepovers, they were like, "Dude, let's go to the freaking mirror, bro. Let's just lay down, let's turn off the lights, let's just call out to the Bloody Mary, bro." And I used to be like, "Y'all are gonna die. I'm chilling."
Yeah, I'm sitting in my room. Y'all can go do that.
And now, like when we went to Thomas's Lake House. We went in the bathroom and we did it, and even like a little like childhood instinct was like, "Oh, don't do it."
Yeah. No, okay. Remember the Conjuring room at Thomas's Lake House?
Oh my god,
bro!
guys.
The whole time I was walking in there, I was like, "Someone's gonna." I don't know if it was from like because I was a kid and the whole Bloody Mary thing, but someone's gonna pop out of this closet right now and just like scare all of us.
We went to our friend's lake house, and Thomas, we love you. He'll probably be watching this episode, editing it, and helping us with stuff in the future, but. In his lake house, there's like a room on the side, kind of like the guest house.
Yeah.
And when we walked inside, the lights were flickering, and there was a mattress on the wall, and there was like it was like kind of.
It was a yellow tinted, kind of dark
yellow tint, and then there was like crosses everywhere, and then in the bedroom it was like super yellow light, and the bathroom or the closet was barren, and all of us when we walked in there, and there was like a old bottle of some pink alcohol in the fridge, and that was it. That was all that was in the fridge. And we were all like, dude, somebody got murdered in this room.
The thing that got some of us was when you walk into the bedroom and you turn on the lights, it's connected to the closet lights. So when you turn on the bedroom lights, it turns on the closet lights.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that.
What kind of design is that?
Yeah,
I didn't notice that.
I think me and Al were talking about it or something, but we turned on the bedroom lights and we saw the closet lights, and everyone was like, "Why are the closet lights on?" And we're like, "What?"
Yeah, we did find something interesting in the closet, though, bro. We found something pretty.
We're a family-friendly podcast.
Pretty interesting in that closet, but I remember. Okay, so when I was a kid, I already still am not a fan of horror movies, but
I don't mind them.
The thing that tipped me over was me and my friends, again, very stupid young kids. Yeah. We went in my friend's closet, and we sat there in the dark and watched all of the Grudge movies.
The Grudge.
Yeah,
I've never
all 4 of them. I think there's this one part where it's like this guy's in the shower. He's like itching his head, and then he turns around and it's like a lady's hand is like on his head.
Oh.
It's pretty scary, or at least they're making a remake actually.
Okay.
It was supposed to come out. I think they delayed it, or maybe it did come out. Anyway, I'm gonna watch it just to conquer my fears. But after I came out of that closet, I like borderline needed therapy because I was so like, after that point, because of my childish imagination, I had the worst nightmares and like sleepless nights, and like I would make up stuff to scare myself because my brain was so overactive.
I think that's what all kids do.
Yeah, but I think that combination of really scary things and a super crazy imagination is not good for kids because like it really messed me up. Like now I'm okay.
Also, as a kid, you see on like a movie or something, like you can see it in a picture, you can whatever. That's just a picture. When you see it in a movie, and it's like moving, and like the monster's actually moving, you start to believe it more.
Right, and when you're a kid,
thing.
you haven't fully understood the world yet, so you haven't decided for yourself whether you believe ghosts are real or not.
Because as a kid, I was like, when I see a movie, I'm like, yeah, based on a true story. And then I eventually figured out later on in the years that it'll say based on a true story if it's a true story.
That makes it even worse, bro. Just that little psychological recognition that it's a true story.
Horror movies that say based on a true story, and then like you watch the horror movie and you're like, you're lying. That's that's true?
What? It's nuts, man. I remember when we watched Hereditary, specifically, there's a scene in the movie where they did a lot of like very subtle, not spoiler, I think I can say without any details. They did a lot of subtle horror, right? Where it's not immediately meant to scare you. It's only meant to scare you if you find it.
Yeah.
And there was this
one scene, psychological movie, yeah.
If you know what I'm talking about, where they're in the attic, and if you look in the corner, there's like a fully naked old lady.
Yeah.
Just standing in the dark.
Yeah.
And that was what I would see all the time when I walk in my room upstairs when the lights were off.
You see naked grandmas?
Not naked. Oh, thank God, not naked grandmas. But I used to think I could see people like looking at me in the dark.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like even straight up yesterday, right? You know how my bed, the room like corners off.
Yeah.
So when you walk in, you have to turn a little bit before you see my whole room.
Yeah.
Every now and then, if I really am getting to my head, I feel like I can imagine a guy looking around the corner. Like I think someone's like doing that. And for the longest time, I believed that someone was in my vents. You know that?
I think you should stop watching horror
I was
movies.
very overactive, man. It's in my brain.
I think you should stop watching horror movies.
Did
Sooner
you
or later.
like that?
Now, okay. If I'm being honest, when I was younger, yes. Nowadays, not as much. But okay, one thing that sometimes gets me is I have a jacket hung on my door, but like the corner of the door, like the top corner of my door.
The room that I've never been inside.
Yeah, you've never been to my house. It's hung by a hoodie, but the hoodie is like a little like because it's the corner of the door. It's kind of pointy because like the whatever the point is the point. It's a black hoodie. Every single time I walk into my room at night or whatever, like I sometimes don't want to wake up my family because I'm the only one awake at 4 a.m. I'll use my flashlight just so I can get in. But bro, I swear it looks like every like horror movie, horror game when it's all dark and the white like flashlight walks in, and I go and I kind of just scan my room because my closet door is always open. I have a smaller room, and so my closet door is always open. I just kind of flash my light just to see where my bed is so I can get to my bed, and I see like the hoodie and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my god, the Grim Reaper's here. And then I'm like, oh wait, nope, that's just my jacket. No one's in my closet. Is there anyone in my closet? No. Okay, cool. I have enough knives around my room to protect myself, right? Okay, cool.
I was never afraid of like the monster under my bed, but I was always afraid of leaving like my arm or leg out of the sheet.
Oh no, I used to do that, yeah.
When I was asleep, so I would cover everything and make sure nothing was out just in case something wanted to come nibble on me.
Yeah, also you can't get killed. If you're wearing a blanket, it's like a protection spell.
100%.
Nobody can kill you.
There's no way they can get past it.
They're like, oh, he has a blanket on. All right, next house.
Yeah, Satan, like in the rules for demons, he was like, if they're wearing the sheets,
you gotta leave them alone.
You can't get them.
Sooner or later, as a group of friends, when like college is done or whatever, we have to sit down and watch all 8 Conjuring movies.
I will.
Conjuring Chronicles, whatever the heck it's called.
Like now with my more mature brain, if it's not like one of the ones that people regard as like good plot, I will like either laugh or fall asleep. Like
that's fine. But we're watching all 8.
I can't stand horror movies anymore.
We
watched Spiral the other day. Me and Amar were just laughing.
Oh yeah. Some of those are like just
it was
just horrible.
So bad. It was so.
But after we went to the lake house and like I saw all the all like the weird like things we were going through, I was like,
spiders, bro.
We have to watch all 8 Conjuring movies. Yeah, no, bro. Honestly,
I developed a mild case of arachnophobia because of those spiders, bro.
Yeah, no, all 8 Conjuring movies or Conjuring. Okay, technically it's 8 Conjuring Chronicle movies, whatever. So in order it goes, you have to watch The Nun.
Oh, is it chronological?
It's
or
chronological, but it's 8 movies that are all in the same universe. So it goes The Nun, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle, The Conjuring, Annabelle Comes Home, The Curse of La Lorraine. I don't know how to spell that. Say that. Whatever. The Conjuring 2, and then The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me do it, right?
I actually kind of want to watch that last one, though.
Yeah, the last one just came out recently. So.
Yeah, that one looked kind of interesting.
So there's like 8 movies, and you just gotta watch all of them in order because they're all kind of tied a little bit in like some sort of way. And I'm like, I kind of want to do it with the boys and see like who pieces fans first.
This is interesting. Yeah, like I don't.
It's 8 movies. I'm gonna say each one's like 2.5 hours.
You know what scares me the most about the
It's an all day thing. Huh.
Her freaking nose, bro.
I think
it's unnaturally long.
Everyone has been saying that.
Dude, like I could clear that crap with the ruler. You know?
Yeah, you can find the Pythagorean theorem using.
Yeah, I can calculate the inverse sine of her nostrils.
How did we get to talking about noses? Weren't we talking about?
Oh, I just don't find her face scary. Or when I watched the trailer, and people would say this is not a good movie, but it's scary.
Yeah,
I understood it because her face is pretty freaky. Yeah. And now that I look at it, I'm just like, I just see a really long nose.
Yeah.
Like that's all I can pay attention to.
A really long nose.
I see her face is her nose.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, did you Oh man. Oh, I'm forgetting.
And forgot.
When I'm just thinking about all like the scary things that I would go through when I was a kid.
So we started off talking about COVID, and now we're talking about scaring kids.
Man. Oh, okay.
Welcome to the podcast.
Speaking of scary things, jobs.
Oh God, don't do that.
How do you feel about them? How do you feel about your job your ex job?
Okay, jobs.
Is that what you refer to a job that you had?
An ex job? Or just a previous job?
Right, that makes sense. But
an ex job?
You feel like you want your friend, right? You have an ex friend, like someone who was your friend, right?
Ex work.
Ex employer.
Ex employer does work. Previous I don't know.
Previous employee.
Not on an essay. You can't say that to a friend. You might be able to. Anyway, jobs. Okay, jobs right now in this condition of the world where like you're kind of like the world is kind of open back to normal, but also not. You can find a job, but it's also going to come with like requirements. And for me, when I was applying to a bunch of jobs, half of them were hiring, half of them weren't. Majority of the time, for some reason, I didn't get half the jobs I was applying to. But even though they were asking for people, I don't know. Anyway, I got a job at Lowe's beginning of the year-ish, and I was happy with it. I'm chilling. I'm living life. I have to wear a mask. We do the whole 6 feet apart social distancing thing. Every now and then I get yelled at by a customer for still wearing my mask. I'm like, hey, you can leave. I can't actually tell them that. It's unfortunate. Like,
I wanted to tell so many people at my work so many things.
Yeah, no, like I literally get yelled at sometimes. They're like, why? I'm like, because I want to wear my mask. But like, why? You don't have to anymore. No, we still do, but we're outside. No, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, especially since like they're gonna open up all of the state, not have any mask regulations anymore. Yeah. That's gonna be the day where I'm gonna be like, I literally can't make you do anything unless I just quote the store policy.
Yeah,
but it would be really nice if we just didn't.
But the store policy is, as at this point, is just the employees have to wear it. The customers don't have to.
Yeah,
because that was for us. Like at Lowe's, like at one point, people didn't have to wear masks anymore, but they were like employees still do, even if you got vaccinated.
I'm not sure anymore if at Starbucks you have to, or
I think a lot of food places still do it.
It's just the employees.
I think a lot of food places you still have to do it just in case.
Yeah, but I worked at Starbucks. I loved my time there, except for a few things. But I quit that real quick, and now I.
I also quit.
Now I tutor kids, and I love it way more.
Now I'm unemployed.
Yeah, how does it feel, bro?
Okay. So let me go down this road real quick. Okay, while having the job, I was happy with it. Granted, it was towards like the end of the semester type of thing, so I had a little bit of school, but also
being
not a lot.
Freaky with your schedule.
Yeah. The reason why I quit was because there's some like, I don't know if it's really called management issues, but there was like some management issues. Some people didn't really teach me things. I was slacking on some other things, and while talking to other employees, and like I was a cashier. And while talking to other cashiers, they're like, yeah, no, there's a lot of issues here. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, no, there's a lot of like issues here. Like sometimes they forget to like let you go on break, or they forget to tell you this or teach you this and all that stuff.
They forget to give you your workers' rights.
Yeah, they're like,
just slips in mind.
Like, what? How?
Just a little bit.
And then one of our friends, Safine, he went and worked at Allen, the Allen version of Allen location in Lowe's, and he was telling me, no, I don't have any of that issues. And I'm like, is it like a store thing then? And so I started like, at one point, Ramadan was starting, and I had to fast for the whole thing, and then I also had like issues with school because they started scheduling me during the morning. I'm like, I thought we made a deal. We don't schedule me during the mornings because I have school until like 3 p.m. and I can come in after that. I told them like during the job interview, I'm like, yo, I can do from like 3 to closing. Don't schedule me in the mornings. I don't know where they started scheduling me mornings. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, well, no, this is not part of the contract. Also, I really hate how, I don't know if this is right or not, but that my part-time work, the schedule was never solid.
That's
One day,
the most devastating thing to someone working part-time because they're not trying to work like all the time. They need that other time, and when it starts encroaching on that time, then you got
because
all the problems come back.
Because one day I was working like 4 hours. The next day, literally the next day, I'd be working 7 hours, 9 hours. Then the next day after that, I don't work. Then the day after that, I work 9 hours again. But the next day after that, I work 4. And so it's like every week it's different. Anytime I would hang out with you guys, I'd be like, yeah, let me know like 2 weeks in advance so I know my schedule because I don't know my schedule next week.
I didn't see you guys for like a straight 3.5 months.
Yeah,
because I just could never.
For the longest time on
work.
earth, we all had like problems with like work.
Oh yeah, I my boss did the same thing. Everything was really good. The only reason I quit was my boss. But if
your boss seemed nice.
No. So
is she the type of person that's like parents and stuff like that, like and at home they're mean, but in person they're like nice or something?
Well, actually, I think the one you saw, she isn't my boss, but she is the manager of the shift manager.
Oh.
She is so awesome. She's so cool. Right, I love her. But my actual manager for the location, which she did work every now and then. But
you had to talk to your manager, bro. I talked to my manager once, and he was yelling at me for not doing training.
That's every time you guys would tell me talk to your manager. I was like, you guys don't understand. It's literally impossible.
Yeah,
not only is she not there, but also she's like not compliant.
My siblings were like, yeah, go talk to like the manager or something. I'm like, what? Bro, at Lowe's, explain me this. At Lowe's, we have head cashiers, right? Those are the people that aren't really cashier, but they're kind of like the managers of the cashiers, right? We have like 6 head cashiers. And then they go to like one person, and that one person goes to like their bosses. So when I have an issue, which 6 am I supposed to go to? Which one of the 6 am I supposed to go to?
Bureaucracy.
And I'm like, okay, so this person's not here, even though he does the scheduling, and then this person is here, but they don't really know anything about this. But this person doesn't know about this because this person's doing this.
Dude, new podcast idea. Next episode in the future, I'm gonna write it down. Corporate. We can talk about corporate, bro. I can literally rant about corporate for
sooner or later, one of us is getting sued.
Dude, no, but that's what you're going through. It's like 10 times worse than corporate. The bureaucracy and like the levels of crap you have to go through in order to just get something super simple done. It's absolutely
like
insane.
I had to take off work for I think my sister's engagement or something. I don't remember what it was, and I was like, who am I supposed to talk to? And they're like, yeah, you have to go talk to person X. I'm like, where's person X? Yeah, he's off for a week. What? I'm supposed to let you guys know like 2 weeks in advance, and if he's off for the whole week, I won't have enough time to tell you.
That's what they told me too. They said if you want to take off days, let me know 2 weeks in advance. And I'm like, okay, but who do I tell, and will it get to you on time? And they were like, sure. Never did.
I applied for that day off, and like 2 weeks in advance because I'm a good employee. I needed 2 weeks in advance. I applied 2 weeks in advance, and I waited, and a week went by. And then a week and a half went by, and I'm like, bro, I'm getting close to the day. Like, I gotta, like, take off this day. So I emailed my manager, like, the manager of the store, and I'm like, yo, I need to take this day off. No one's responding back to me. So he took that email, not even as the manager. He was like, yeah, go ahead and take it off. He took that email, sent it to the person that's the person scheduling all of us. Then I got my day off.
Yeah, that's weird.
So every single time I have to apply for a day off, I have to send it to the manager, and the manager sends it to the person that's working under him. But like, there's only one person that's doing that. I'm like, why isn't like HR doing that, or why isn't someone else doing that? Like multiple people. Why isn't anybody
easier to access so that's more reliable?
Yeah, and it's like, what?
But my manager, she did the same thing you're talking about. When I interviewed, I told her my availability, right? I told her what I'm available for, and every week after, she would inch up those days that I was working more and more. And I was like, hey, what's going on here? And she was like, oh, it's just like you need to check your schedule ahead of time. And I'm like, well, why are you adjusting it to begin with? And she's like, oh, we just need the people at the time. I'm like, why don't you tell me? And she's like, just look at the schedule.
You got that excuse, we need the people? Same?
Yeah.
Bro, I got that excuse too, even though we have 40 cashiers.
And she told me, look at the schedule. And this is the stupidest thing, okay? The person who gave me the tour of the facility was my shift manager. And she just forgot to point out the schedule because, like, whatever, that's her mistake.
Sure.
But my actual manager, who was supposed to give me that actual tour, never even told me where the schedule was. And she was like, it's your fault. And I was like, what? How is it even possible? Anyway, she was scheduling me on weekends and then creep those weekends up more and more and more. And then eventually I was like, I can't do this. And I told you guys about this on the group chat. I called her on the phone and I was literally like, can I please change my availability? What was advertised to me when I started working was that I could. And she straight up said, no. And I was like, do I have any other options? She said, no, not really.
And that's when you quit.
And I sat on the phone, and there were 5-6 seconds of silence, and I was like, do I really have a choice? And she said, I guess not. And I was like, all right, I hate you now. I tried to get along with you. I no longer like you. I am leaving. And I put in my 2 weeks, like a week after that. And
you waited a whole week after that, bro? I would have quit on the phone.
No, man. No,
I would have quit and not showed up.
I still needed the money.
Bro, it's a week.
Yeah, but it was so much fun. Everybody there was so sweet. It was just
yeah, bro. You worked at Starbucks.
Person,
I worked at Lowe's. At least you got like pretty girls to come to you. I got a bunch of old men that are like trying to buy wood.
But I also got a bunch of really pretentious people.
Yeah, man.
Like, I don't mind if you have a complex order of coffee, but especially because we had the glass and masks on, I was like, you gotta be a little bit more patient with me putting it into the register.
Yeah.
And there were people who were good about it, but there was a select few of people who were like, are you like, is something wrong? Why can't you just get it the first time? And I'm like I almost punched through the glass. I'm like, knock, knock, knock. This is why.
At Lowe's, the funniest thing is whenever like we have a deal coming up. For example, like $5 off of mulch or something, whatever. Like buy 4, get 1 free or whatever. But that deal starts like Monday, the week after. People start coming in like on Thursday. And they're like, yeah, where's the deal? And they're buying everything. They're like, yeah, isn't that supposed to be a deal? I'm like, no. And they're arguing with me like, no, it's supposed to be a deal. I'm like, what deal are you talking about? Oh, the spring deal. Oh, so I took out like the newspaper. I'm like, top right corner, ma'am. It says it starts next week. What? No, it doesn't. Look at the newspaper. Didn't you get this newspaper? Is this what you're referring to? Yeah. Right there, ma'am. Can you please read that out for me? And there's like a line behind her.
Can you read that out for me?
And yeah, no. At one point, I started telling people like, can you read that out for me? I can't read. I'm sorry. I'm illiterate. Can you read that out for me? And they're like, yeah, okay. It starts next week. I'm like, okay. And there's like a second. And she goes, so you can't give me the deal? I'm like, no, I can't give you the deal.
That's exactly what all of that lead up was. Just go away, please.
Yeah, just go ahead and just give me the deal. Like, no, I can't give you the deal. I had a lady, bro, funniest lady. I had an older Asian lady do that same exact thing I just told you about. And then she left. So I took her cart full of mulch and random stuff because I was working in a garden center that day. And I put her cart on the side. We have people come, take those carts, put everything back, right? I was like, okay, whatever. She left. 30 minutes passed by, 45 minutes passed by. Everyone's, everything's going smoothly. She comes back. And I'm like, hello again. She goes, where's my cart? I'm like, oh, it's right there. We were about to put it back. She goes, why? I'm like, I'm sorry? She goes, why are you putting it back? I still want to buy it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I start, ringing up her things. I'm like, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you left. She goes, no. So we did this whole thing. I scanned all of her items. She goes, okay, so the deal? I'm like, no, I'm not doing this again. And she's like, okay, come on, just give me the deal.
People really want that deal, bro.
She's like, just give me the deal. I'm like, you know what? Let me run this by my manager.
I love that excuse.
I call up the manager. I specifically ask for the certain manager who like doesn't like care about people. Like he doesn't work with people. He just like works for like us employees. I'm like, let me call my manager. So I call him. He comes up. He goes, what's the issue? I'm like, she wants the deal for next week. He goes, what? I'm like, yeah, she wants the deal for next week. He goes, that's not how that works. I'm like, no, to her it does. And he goes, okay. So he walks up to her and starts talking to her. She's like, yeah, I just want the deal. Ma'am, the deal starts next week, but I want the deal right now. Yeah, but the deal starts next week. But I have all my stuff right here. Yeah, go ahead and buy it, but the deal's going to start next week. She goes, okay, let me get your manager. He's like, I am the manager. She goes, but I want the deal. I'm like, oh my God, ma'am. She ended up getting mad. She ended up getting really mad at me. Me only, not the manager. Me only, and just left.
But she did if mom says no, then I'll ask dad. If dad says no, I'll ask grandpa. If grandpa says no, I'll ask great grandpa.
And so when she left, my manager looks at me. He goes, dude, what? I'm like, I don't know. And then he just leaves. And then literally not even 2 weeks later, when the deal's going on, she comes back. And I remember her face. I was like, bro, I know this lady, and I saw her. And she buys it. And she goes, I thought this was cheaper. I'm like, nope, it's not today, ma'am. Thank you very much. Your total is $14.19. Please enter your card, or if you like cash, all right, cool,
That's
cash it is.
irritating. See, at Starbucks, we had the same kinds of problems, except I don't know if corporate wants us to do this, but my manager was always like, if anybody complains that much about it, just give it to them.
Yeah, no,
so
sometimes
we had like
yeah.
a special what's it called, like a code that it could bypass some certain things.
Yeah.
And on the register, like if some woman was like, there was a bofo, right, a few days ago.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, yeah, but it's not really there anymore. And she'd really be hesitant. My manager just like, she'd literally poke her on the corner. She'd be like, just clear it.
Yeah.
And I just gave him this card. And
Yeah, no, at one point,
free coffee.
this lady was just trying to buy like 10 bags of mulch, and the deal was over for like like it was like half off or something. The deal was over, and she was arguing, and I had a line behind me because most of the time when you're outside and there's like, I don't know, most of the time there's one cashier outside, and I was at one cashier outside, and there's a line. I'm like, you know what? Fine. And I gave her like, I didn't even ring up half like the mulch just so I can get it half off, and I'm like, okay, here you go, have a nice day. And like, you're not supposed to do that, but I'm like, bro, at a certain point, mixed with I was getting yelled at about wearing my mask and just COVID being annoying sometimes with like people there and everything. Towards the end of my job, I was like, I don't care.
I'm really grateful for my job though, because in one way or another, I think about things like this. Like, it taught me what I do like and what I don't like. I didn't like the industry, but I liked the job. I didn't like the
I love the
whole
job. I didn't mind it.
but I liked my place in it. Like, I'm a very people. You and I are both like this. You know, we like people, talking to people. So I like service. I like customer interaction.
Yeah.
And that helped me a lot, especially with the tutoring and everything, because it's literally talking to someone for like an hour.
Yeah.
You know, trying to teach them something. And it also taught me that I don't want. I don't know. This is gonna sound kind of mean, but like I don't want like a simple job. I don't know. Like I would much rather like learn about cars and be a mechanic like Al than work at a McDonald's. You know, because I get really even. It's not like the job is better or worse, but I would get so bored being at McDonald's and at a mechanic shop. I'd learn stuff and I'd still be pushed.
I think that was
because I figured out everything at Starbucks other than making the drinks. Like I was so social. The POS, nothing was a problem there. Everything was okay. I was just existing for like 4 hours a day and then going. So like for me, it did start to get a little bit tedious.
Yeah, no, Sam, I feel that because most of it, for some reason, I don't know why, I ended up always working in the garden center outside as a cashier, and at a certain point, there's like barely anyone that comes up to you to like check out. There's one or two an hour. And so I sit there and I'm like, what on God's earth am I going to do for the next 4 hours? If my shift is 9 hours long, for a solid 7 of them, I'm not going to be doing anything. And I just kind of sit there and I'm like, I'm bored out of my mind. So that's kind of the thing. Like, yeah, like I like to actually be doing something. Even if that's why when I was talking to, I think my mom or something, I told her I don't mind getting like a job at a lab, to be honest.
I want to work at a.
And she was like, why? That's so much work and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, but my mind would be used.
Dude, we need to find jobs at labs, bro.
Yeah, that's why I was doing. That's why I'm doing biomedical engineering, because I can see myself actually doing lab work instead of
at a lab.
Civil engineering, where I'm just sitting and drawing like plans and stuff like that.
Except I want a little bit more hands-on.
A little bit. Yeah.
I would love that, bro. Mixing beakers and vials, filling out, testing.
Like you
paperwork.
actually get to use your mind. That's the type of thing. Like that's why the job I didn't really fit with a job, and like that's why school right now isn't really fitting with me.
Yeah.
Like I told you earlier, right now I'm doing in-person classes, right? But the work is all online. The teachers literally accept that we're all cheating online. Yeah, they're like, yeah, we know you're gonna cheat.
Layer of their depression is
we know you're gonna cheat. Either we help you cheat,
or we completely block you.
But I don't get paid enough to completely block you, so we're just gonna help you cheat. Like literally, the teacher literally gives us so much material. She's like, yeah, this is all you have to cheat on. Here's how you cheat on it. And it's at that point, like, we're not even learning anything. I'm not even using my mind anymore. I literally told you the other day, I walked into class, zoned out for 3/4 of it, took all the notes from the lecture, went out to my car and did my lab and got 100 on it. Yeah. Because I cheated on it.
Yeah. This kind of segues into, like, when you have to sacrifice all of this stuff for an activity you don't even really like, right? Like how when I don't know if this is just being an adult, how life is right now, whatever, I don't really care. Like sacrificing what you love for what you need to be doing. Yeah. Right? Work and school over your passions and your hobbies. Like,
I don't have hobbies.
How have you been dealing with that, like, as college has gone on?
I don't have hobbies anymore.
Mine kind of blink out of existence like that, too.
Because during work, when I had the job at Lowe's, I would come back home. Like I told you, I closed majority of the time. I would come back home around 11 p.m.
Yeah. Ugh,
I would have dinner at 11:30 max.
Imagine.
And then I would sit there and I'm like, I have school tomorrow. I have to be up like 10 a.m. max. And so I have to go to sleep roughly 2 a.m. maximum 2 a.m. But I only go to sleep at 2 a.m. and I get tired from all the work or whatever because we never actually sit down. We're always walking around. Even if it's a cashier, we don't get seats. So I get tired, and by like 12 or 1 max, I'm like in my bed. And so I'm like, I don't have time to. Sometimes I don't have time to do homework. Sometimes I just don't have time to like chill and relax and like talk to friends. I started watching movies while doing work just because I had nothing else to do. I started doing homework during work because when I get home, I know I'm not going to have time for arts or playing video games or whatever.
Yeah.
So like the whole life just kind of got shrunk, and I'm like,
I had so
this
much
is boring.
downtime that I would do this with my AirPod, like lean on my hand and just listen to music while I was
Yeah, no,
at
bro.
work.
I would be sitting outside for like 4 hours and no one's around me. I'd be watching like Twitch, or like I'd be watching movies or random YouTube videos just like to help the time pass by.
If I'm if I'm working during Maghrib, like 8 or 9 o'clock, I'm like so unhappy. If I'm working when I need to be like getting ready to sleep or like winding down, my body hates that. So like if I ever had a shift that lasted that long, bro, oof.
Yeah, no, I hated the shift. The pay was nice, but like some of the work was just tedious. When you're inside and you're like one of those like the main cashiers on the inside of Lowe's, you get a lot more people. When you're outside, you get less people but more quantity in the basket.
You know, maybe it would have been like a better shift to be like the guy who like walks in between the aisles to help people, because then you're like searching for people to help.
But Lowe's is trash with that. So
I also have the same problem, and I think I've heard a lot of people talk about this, and it's weird how, because when you work in the same place you eat, in the same place you sleep, in the same place you relax, your mind really doesn't like change. I think there is something about physical proximity to things and your mind's mindset.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people have been saying, and I totally agree, is like it never feels like the work or school stops because it's always in the palm of your hand all the time.
Yeah, that's why like during the whole like when we actually had lockdown and quarantine, everyone hated online school.
Yeah.
Granted, you can cheat and stuff like that, but you wake up, you go from bed,
you
go onto your laptop.
You know what my room looks like? I roll and then I'm in my chair and then I'm like
then
sometimes
now you're listening to a lecture about physics.
I was like kind of like a Jummah Friday prayers thing, right? And for the khutbah, she was talking like this lady was talking about how that is like so unhealthy, and I was like, that's literally all I do. Yeah. Like I will try, but then over the course of the school year, I will stop caring so much that I don't even brush my teeth before class. I will literally just roll over, do class, roll back over, go to sleep, roll over, next period, so on and so forth. And that lethargic feeling is so nasty, bro. It makes everything really bad.
It really sucks, and that's why I hated the whole like online thing. I'm taking an art course online. I don't mind art. Sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's not. But all of art right now is just busy work because it's all online. She can't have lectures. She can't like bring art pieces and talk about it in person, blah, blah, blah. It's all online. And so it's just...
You're not actually making any art, are you?
No, it's just art history.
And talking.
Yeah. I explained to you yesterday the whole art thing behind it, and you were like, really, bro? It's boring. Like, online work is great if you're trying to like just pass because you can cheat the whole time. But if you're trying to learn anything, it's trash because you can't really, you're not connecting to it. In person, you can ask questions. You can see what another student is saying. You can, have a conversation. You can even cheat in person and still, I don't know, whatever. You can make jokes with your friends. Online, you're kind of sitting with like your four walls and a computer and some random teacher that doesn't know how to use a mic. Yeah,
it really, like, I always thought maybe homeschool's not that bad. But if homeschool is anything like the way COVID University has been, those people are like warriors, bro.
Majority of the time, I think homeschool is your parents are teaching you.
But it's the same concept of you're sitting in the same place you do all your other daily activities, and it kind of doesn't end because your homework is done in the same place that you play video games.
You need a change of environment, even.
It was so weird because we could not go outside initially, right? Like it was just too dangerous. But I found myself like wanting to do work just at the park.
Yeah.
In any open air environment.
Whenever I started doing in-person classes, like even if it's hybrid, half online, half in person, I would go to like a Starbucks or like a park or the library or the outside of the library so I can connect to the inside Wi-Fi or something. I just kind of sit there and be like, I'm not going home because I know that's why I go to cafe right now because as soon as I get home, I'm just gonna fall asleep or I'm just not gonna like have any energy to do anything. Even if I drink coffee and Red Bull and Monster, I'm just gonna go straight to sleep.
Yeah, it's I think because I could not convince my brain that I really did want to go to class. So even when I was in class, I would literally be falling asleep in front of the camera. It was so bad. I hated it. Like I hate e-learning so much. The only thing is that it presents an incredible advantage that you don't have to pay for housing or much of tuition or anything. You're only really paying for your textbook.
But the beginning of COVID University, they would some university would charge you to do and how what's the word?
Oh yeah, there were a bonus. They were charging more for people doing online only.
Yeah,
they
would either do that or you have to pay for dorms and stuff.
Yeah, I weaseled. I got a waiver to get out of paying for the mandatory dorm thing because freshmen there's like a policy or something. For
I'm just like because they require you as us freshmen. They're like you have to your first year has to be on campus.
Yeah.
Well, there's a pandemic and I'm not paying an extra $10K.
I find it's a very strange, mostly monetary reason. This is what I'm saying, bro. There's so many corrupt, stupid things about college.
Yeah, no.
That's why Collin's nice and simple, bro. You just go there, you take the classes.
Yeah, Collin is simple, but same time, like no one wants to talk to anyone.
I wish there were a lot more nicer public institutions like that instead of. I mean, I know college is public, but like a lot more chill colleges. Because then, if you standardize something like that, it would all become a little less expensive.
I think at our community college, everyone's just trying to get the work done, get out. Yeah. And so there's not going to be a lot of issues like that type of stuff. Also, you don't have to live there.
And professor quality is like variable as well. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's really bad.
Yeah, and so it kind of depends on like researching your professor. But at the same time, like the social interaction with other people is limited to like none. Like I was telling you earlier, like people don't talk to you. Like the class today when they started talking, I was like, "What the heck is this?" Yeah, bro, no one talks to you unless you have like answers.
We'll change that, bro. We're gonna hop in calc and physics, bro. We're gonna change that.
No, we're not. Especially physics, bro. Physics ain't nobody gonna be doing any talking because they're like, "How do I do physics again?" What's math?
I talk a lot. I'm just really worried about the equations. That's the one thing I even in high school could not.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, I'm taking a physics class and lab with Assad. That means I'm gonna be sitting next to him, and he's gonna be doing all the talking, and I'm just gonna be taking notes, and he's gonna be doing all the talking.
You can also do all the talking. We can talk together, even.
Yeah, no.
But I think it'll be easier just because something I learned from when I think we talked about this in the first episode. But I learned really well with other people, like vicariously, helping them, talking to them, them helping me. So
the first episode is the first take of this, but
yeah, maybe, but
we'll talk about that later.
The idea of going to class with someone actually is like a lot. I think it'll help add some value. Like my brain I can't convince my mind and my body that I want, like, it's worth it. Yeah, no. My body is superseding.
I sit in class right now and I'm like, this is the boringest thing on earth. You know, you can sometimes, if you take a class with me, I get super bored of the class when I start wearing like headphones to class. Yeah. I start wearing headphones to class because it gets so boring. Like right now in calculus, I'm wearing headphones to class. I have one AirPod in, and then like the other one, I only have one ear full of AirPod. What? I only have one AirPod in. Full of AirPods. Genius. You can see I'm tired.
Just like normally though, are you somebody who can like listen to lecture at the same time as listening to music? Because for me, I tried it, but I can't. My brain is pretty much one path or another. I can't.
I can read the book while listening to like dubstep.
Really, I can't. even if it's like classical music, I need to focus one channel or the other. I can't do both.
I somehow grew up listening to music, and you saw me all of high school, bro. I always had my earbuds.
You had the headphones. That's what I'm saying. So you probably bored through all the
bro. All of high school, I was bored as heck, bro. I literally will wear headphones, and as the teacher's speaking, I'm like, "Oh, yo, she's kind of catching on to the rhythm of the song." And then she's like, "Abraham, take your headphones out." I'm like, "God damn it!"
Yeah. Another thing that I'm looking forward to is now that I have an expo board, I can actually like write on that. Yeah. Because our school, one of the really cool things was that you could write almost anywhere if you had an expo marker, walls, glass, tables.
Yeah, as freshmen, they're like, bring a lot of expo markers. You can write everywhere.
We ran out of I bought like 4 or 5 packs.
I used to just always steal from random people. I'm like, I'm not going to go buy expos.
You could always find them on the floor.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to go buy expos. But I know the school has a bunch.
I love that, and now I love the ability of like doing all this like super long math work and then just erasing it.
Yeah, that's why I like.
It's so nice.
In my house, I can't really do that. I have like a really small whiteboard, but in person and in classes, I'm like, I have to take notes or something, so I start using like a notebook. Bro, you should have seen my last year. I've taken more notes last year for math than in my whole 12 years in normal school.
Dude, I've never ever filled notebooks. I filled
a notebook
every
in math.
semester.
Yeah, for the past 2 semesters,
Every
I've
semester.
filled a notebook with math.
I hate it. I hate how much my hand hurts. And I think, class is so stupid that my method of studying is just rewriting my old notes because there's literally nothing else to study.
I remember in 5th grade, I think my teacher told me to rewrite my notes.
I think it's a valid skill, but as far as like my hand, I hate it. It's because, okay. Also, another thing that I don't like that professors do, only a few, is they multiply the amount of time you're spending on their class like tenfold. Like I had a professor, loved the guy, but he made us sit in class, listen to a lecture, but before class we had to listen to the same lecture except it was a PowerPoint with voice recordings.
Hell no.
And then after that we also had to take notes. So I was doing his class 3 times normally instead of the 1 time that I was supposed to do it because professors don't know how to slow down and let people take notes while they talk.
Yeah,
And
my history class was like that.
multiplied my doing their work 3 times, and it actually made me study less for the class because I wasn't actually remembering all the stuff I was writing down. I was just writing it down so that I don't lose it.
My history class was like that. I took the same history teacher for 2 semesters, and in the first semester I realized that like he usually does the same thing. He's like, yo, read the notes or watch the lecture online, and when we come in person, which is supposed to be a discussion, quote unquote discussion, we'll just talk about like the notes and stuff like that. We walk into class and he's re-giving the lecture.
Yeah.
So I literally learned halfway through the first semester and all of my second semester to not watch the lectures before I walk into class. I might just look at the title and be like, oh, we're talking about like slavery in like 14th century or something. But then I'm like, okay. And then I walk into class and he takes like, he kind of like gives you the discussion grade based off of how much you talk during class. And so the way I would get around it was I'd always ask questions because I had no clue what the lecture was about. Mm-hmm. So I'd be like, yeah, so when this happened back in the 19th century, I'm like, wait, but why would that happen? And he goes, well, this is why. And I'm like, I was actually genuinely curious because I had no clue. I didn't watch any lectures. And so, but he would take it as like
the interest keeps you in class.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I'm not going to read the lecture beforehand only to walk into class and take the lecture during that.
I had that same strat, and then you know what my professor implemented? He started doing this thing where the morning before the lecture, there was a quiz due with a question that was from the lecture.
That's dumb.
The only way you could know the answer is if you did it the night before like he asked, which means that you had to do it twice at least. And I would hate it. So the night before, I would ask one of the kids in the school who was actually responsible, or not responsible, I'm pretty responsible, but like who was cared more than I did because I had 0 Fs given at the end, and they told me is they just told me the slide it was from, and I was like, thank you so much, and then I just got the quiz, and
I don't know if it's
college taught me to optimize, bro. College taught me to do the least.
Academy taught you how to optimize.
Yes, Academy also taught me how to optimize, but college taught me how to optimize unethically.
You know, I was telling my mom this the other day. I'm like, some of the stuff I'm not gonna learn. I know I'm not going to learn, and I'm choosing not to learn them because I will never use them in my life, so I'm going to cheat. And I'll look it up, or like, I'll definitely do something incorrect, but I'm just not going to learn them. And I'm fine with that. And she goes, well, why are you fine with that? You're supposed to be learning, blah, blah, college, blah, 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 education. I'm like, explain to me when in my engineering life I'll have to use the substitution of U and integrals in my life out of school. I'll give you a second.
As an engineer, you'd need it all the time. But I'm thinking the specific...
In my outside life?
No, not in your outside life. No.
In my outside life, never.
Never. But as an engineer, the substitution of U is just... It's just a way for you to do something if you can't do it in your head.
Yeah.
And the thing you are supposed to do, that is pretty important.
But I can do it on paper and not have to use U.
You can do it on paper, and you don't need to use U, really. If you
literally, U is just... I don't know, like, people listening to us are like,
it's
what the heck are they talking about?
It's just another variable.
U is just, like, you're taking a part of the equation and using it and changing it to U. And rewriting the equation,
and then at the end you put U back in anyway.
Yeah, at the end of the equation, you resubstitute everything you took U out for.
For other people, it's a really good way of looking at it. Like, it helped me organize the thought. But then after a while, I stopped doing the U section. Because the only reason I did U on the homework was because my teacher said you have to do it for the steps that you take the pictures of. I was like, okay, fine. So eventually But I get what you're saying.
Like, sometimes, like, you just don't need to learn to think, because I'm fine with not having to take out, not having to, like, use this whole U concept.
I only want to learn what I need, and if I don't really think that I'm gonna need it, then
there's certain parts I'm like, I'm not gonna use this in my life. Not even as an engineer, I'm not gonna use it.
I sat down with my dad.
Art history, I'm never gonna use that in my engineering degree.
Never. I sat down with my dad and I had the same conversation, but it's always the weirdest feeling when your parents let it happen. My dad, he looked at me because he saw that I was struggling with my grades a little bit, and he was like, he didn't say, yeah, cheat. But he said, listen, I said, sometimes when things get hard, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
He looked at me like
My
with the
parents
side of his eyes, right? He couldn't look at me straight. And he was like, you just got to do what you got to do. You
My
know?
parents were like, study more.
And I was like, yeah, Dad, I will do whatever I need to do. I will get this grade.
It's like when you're like trying to tell someone something illegal, but the cops are listening. You're like, yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But you're trying to tell them to go kill someone. Like,
Go
you got to do what
check-
you got to do.
Go get that teddy bear for your son. Don't take out the
I have
stuffing.
a lot of dirty laundry.
Very
a lot of dirty laundry.
Do you have a Tide Pod?
And you're trying to like clean money.
Anyway.
Money laundering. But yeah, no, math, I mean, not math. School in general now is just, I don't know if it's because we're in college or it's because of COVID or whatever.
High school students have been telling us the same thing as well.
But it's
a little less bad.
It's the dumbest thing on earth. Like, a lot of things just don't feel or mix together anymore.
Yeah.
And you know, like the whole movies, like, or people before COVID happened, all the alumni, like, yeah, college is the best experience in your life, even if like you aren't like going to party and stuff like that. It's the best experience. No,
I thought that was cap before, and now I know it's cap.
Yeah,
like
for all of you people who don't know what cap is like, that's a lie.
Yeah, but
we're gonna use that a lot, so just understand it.
I think I want to give college a chance, and you know me. I'm the kind of kid who likes school. Like, I enjoy learning.
Yeah, you're weird to me.
And college turned that off.
Yeah.
And I really hope that it can come back, because that is a lot of the reason why school becomes effortless for me. I've noticed it'll be hard in the beginning, and then I'll like figure it out. I'll maximize everything, and then it'll like feel like nothing.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question.
I can't do that with college.
I'm gonna ask you a really weird question. I'm fine with ending on this point. I've had this conversation with Natalie, I think a couple days ago. With your degree currently, or with like your degree plan currently, do you feel like sooner or later you're gonna be at the point where like, I hate this degree, but I'm so far in, I just have to get it over with?
I think so, because there's stuff that I don't necessarily need to learn for what I want to do after, but it is part of the degree, and I'm just gonna have to slog through
You're just gonna feel like this is my requirement now.
Yeah,
like,
I'm just gonna
I'm
have to go through
required to do this.
I don't know any other way. So I'm a mech engineer, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to do aerospace, figured out that was not a good idea. I wanted to do physics. People told me that was too specific. Don't do that. The only other idea I have left to pierce into the industry of science is mechanical engineering, and there's a lot of BS in the end-ish, like not thermodynamics, but other stuff with thermodynamics and stuff I don't really want to learn. And then I wanted to major minor or do my master's in astrophysics, because that's what I'm waiting 4 years to do what I really want to do. Space physics, that's what I want to do. And there's going to be a lot of BS that I'm going to have to tolerate through along the way.
Yeah.
And I might just change and get something in genetics. I'm not sure. I just like science. See, I have the weirdest problem that a lot of people don't have. I like everything.
Yeah.
I don't like nothing. I like everything.
I like a lot of different things, but since they're all different, you can't really turn them into
there's not a connecting line.
A degree. Like I was telling who was I telling? Maybe my mom. Like first semester, I was like, what if I do civil engineering as like a major, but also have like a dual degree, whatever it's called, double major in civil engineering and in like psychology, because I was really into psychology for like the longest time on earth. And my mom was like, that's two different ends of the spectrum, right? And so like I'm really interested in both.
I don't know, but biomed and with a minor in psych or a major or a master's in psych could kind of bit more useful.
That makes more sense, because biomed, even if you're doing like prosthetics, you understand how the mind reacts to prosthetics and stuff like that. That makes more sense. But civil engineering
you'll
and
be
psychology,
looking more at the neurological side of psychology, which is not
I've always been interested in
the best part that you like, but it's still really useful. I think no cap. Regardless, you gotta get psych in there somewhere, because that is something that you.
I'm gonna take like one psychology class and just call it a day.
Dude, no. When you take the class, you'll be like I did, and you'll be like, maybe I should just change majors to psychology, because this is just it's so okay. I'm gonna end on this. I remember I was telling my little brother this. I think there's 2 classes everyone should take before graduating high school, and we would just have better human beings. Anthropology. So that people understand what human beings were like and what we are like in all different cultures, so that basically you'll learn the reasons for racism, but you also learn the reasons for why people have like feet and culture and economy. You learn everything basically. And psychology, because psychology even though there's a little bit of the bio side, like parts of the brain, most of it is the philosophical stuff, or not the mental stuff. That my friends in my class were telling me it literally teaches you how to be a better person.
Yeah.
It's not actually about psychology. It's about how to be a good human being.
You start to understand yourself and others.
Exactly. And then what was the other class? Maybe government, but everybody does take government. But some people don't take government.
Government's boring. No one cares about government.
And that's why the government sucks right now.
Yeah.
Because no one likes it, and no one knows anything about it.
Yeah.
We need that. But dude, psych and anthropology, so useful classes. Even though they don't really lead to the coolest degrees, they are so useful classes.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, thank y'all for listening to our very long rant about problems that a lot of you are probably dealing with and don't really want to hear again.
And random horror movies and stuff like that.
Oh, we will pick that up. I have so much to talk about when it comes to scary stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening.
Fun fact. This is the third time we record this episode.
Yeah. Actually, I don't. The continuum kind of got confusing because we said we both had and did not have jobs and fired and got hired. But yeah, this episode is the third. It's been lost like many times. It's definitely not spoken the same. So don't worry, you're getting fresh content.
Yeah. We didn't talk about horror movies the first 2 times we talked about this.
Yeah, this is not the first time.
Reason being is we recorded the very first time we met. We recorded episode 1 and episode 2. And it was like a 6 months period before we recorded episode 3. But we eventually figured out that episode 2
did not get recorded.
The audio
channel was not on.
Yeah. So it never got recorded audio episode 2. So we redid episode 2 a couple days ago, and then during editing, some weird thing happened and it just died. And so this is the third time we do it. Third time's the charm. Hopefully, if you're hearing this, we made it.
Yeah, I'm making a backup for this. I'm gonna edit it nice and clean. And
now every single time we do any sort of editing,
we
make 2 separate files.
Avery had the amazing idea to make backups, and I was like, man, why didn't I think about this before?
Just because, we're not trying to do this again. I love talking to everything, but doing the same topic 3 times.
Dude, in the time that it has been, I've written down so many topic ideas that the next episodes are gonna be pretty spicy, man.
Yeah,
we gotta talk about some deep stuff next.
Oh boy.
I watched some podcasts and people like deep stuff.
Oh god.
Like the meaning of life.
Oh god.
And are we in a simulation?
Oh god.
And stuff like that.
That's gonna actually be. That's gonna be weird.
I think it'll be nice, man.
I think it'll be nice and interesting, but I think it's gonna be weird to listen to.
Yeah, I hope
you're driving down 75 and you're like, what is the true meaning of life? The whole whole
Have you
spotlight
seen that
idea.
Freckle on your arm? Does that?
The freckle on my? I have one on my left arm too. Wait,
am
I connected to those boys on the podcast? Are they my lost long sons, or am I their brother?
Oh man.
Yeah, no, it's weird. Anyway, thank you all for listening.
Yeah,
it's been fun.
We will catch you guys in the next one, all right?
Hopefully, if it doesn't die.
Yes, hopefully.
Or we're gonna do it 4 times again.
Oh, I don't want to do it 4 times.
Right, bye.
Bye.